Hey everyone, I'd like to share this journal that I just finished. It's from the course Artisan Bloom by Nazi of Amity Boom. So for the first one that I made, I really mimicked her instruction. I tried to keep it exactly like hers as I can, minus obviously the pieces of ephemera and stuff that I use to decorate. I obviously don't have what she has, so I used my own, but I really kept it close to what she teaches us, especially for this kind of journal because it's a really layered look for a journal. And that's the spine and the back, and there's different components to this journal, so I used what I had. I do not have a lot for a stash, but I do have this vintage wallpaper, and I did some embossing on it, and behind that here's a little fabric flip, and you can write on the back of this. I used a lot of like wallpaper scraps to make into a journaling card. I did use some fabric. The fabric is not vintage. I actually don't have any, but that's okay. It is coordinating fabrics. I did use some of my vintage ledger that I have, and so on and so forth. So I just tried to use what I had. I really didn't use any digi-kits in this at all. The only thing that is digital is some book title pages that I printed on tracing paper. That's it. Everything else is just the actual pieces of paper. So this piece of fabric here is very translucent, so what I did was behind it I glued down some of that vintage wallpaper so you can see it in the background. And then on this side, when you open it, here's some of that tracing paper with the book title page. So this flips out. Whoops, this part flips out so you can write on the back. And I just did some collaging and some texture paste here and there. Let me move it so you can see. Here's some more wallpaper scrap. I have just one roll of vintage wallpaper, so I only use that one in here. Here's some fabric. Here's some book pages. Most of the book pages that I use, they're all foreign languages. So there's some Italian, there's some French, I think German, and some Finnish in here as far as the book pages go. So here's just a little notebook. There's a little piece, and there's some collage in the back. And what I did do that's different in the course is I made this part here. I left it blank on this side, but I made it into a pocket. So on the inside here, I collaged a little notebook, and inside has some extra coordinating fabrics that I used throughout the journal. Some piano paper roll, little embossed, some more paper, and a little bit more of that vintage wallpaper. So if you wanted to decorate a little more, you can do that, and it fits in here. Now I'm upside down, so I won't put it back. So for the journal itself, it is one signature. There are a lot of pages in it though. I did add random tabs top and bottom. I did add a little bit of lace and trim throughout. This is some more of that tracing paper book title page, and inside I believe most of the tucks and pockets I put some kind of journaling card. This one's a fabric one. This piece of paper here is resume paper. I did tea dye the regular printer paper. I added corner stamping to those papers and some background stamping to those papers only. So like this paper here, it's very translucent. You can see through it. It is Japanese calligraphy paper. So this part is really smooth. This part's pretty rough. So here's a piece of fabric that I turned into a pocket, and I made this card from the tracing paper book title page to go in it. And behind that is another little pocket, and here's a little bookmark type of card. This is embossed. I don't know if you can see the embossing. And I decorated here and there with little bit of die cuts. They're not vintage or anything, but I did have them and I like the color scheme. Here's this collage piece. In the back you can write. Here is a fabric tab, some embossed strip on the side, and there's some texture paste. And behind that I made a pocket from some trim, and here's a big journaling card from the wallpaper I glued it onto a piece of card. Here's some regular copy paper that I believe all the copy papered is tea stained. So here's some piano roll, and I did some heat emboss on that one. Here's another little die cut. Here's an embossing piece. I did try to leave some room for journaling. This is some vintage ledger that's blank. Here's some craft cardstock with some trim on the side. This is vintage ledger that has writing in it. So there's writing in front and behind. Here's just a tuck, and I made another journaling card. On the back there's some ledger. This is a fabric flip that I made behind the music sheet, and up here there's a little tiny tuck where there's a little tile that's embossed. It goes up there. Here's a little die cut. Some more, I think this one's the German one. So here's the middle of the signature. There's two little pockets on the bottom, and these are fabric belly bands on card. So you can write on the back, and you can tuck something there if you'd like to. And here's another fabric belly band with just a card. And here is another tuck spot. This one has an embossed on one side, and then the card on back. And on this side, here's another card. Here's some fabric and an embossing piece down the center, and a back journaling card. And then here's the other side to that ledger that has writing on it, and I believe the ledger is from the early 1900s. Here's some more writing paper, craft paper. The other side of that other vintage ledger piece. The other side of that piano paper roll. And I don't know if I mentioned or not, but I put some tracing paper as hinges because it was actually coming apart from the stitching. It's pretty fragile, so hopefully this part stays sewn in. And so here's another page tab up top. Some embossing and texture paste. The other side to that collage piece here. So here's another card that you can write on the back. And here's a kind of bookmark size, but it's ledger on one side. Here's the other side of that calligraphy paper. And the other side of that finished book page with some heat embossed on this side. And a fabric card here. And you can write on the back. And then on this side I also added another pocket. So in here is a little booklet that I collaged the front and back, and inside is just some various pages. Nothing's been embellished on the inside, it's just a blank booklet. I'll put that in later. And so for the back, oops, it's supposed to go this way. This is a pocket, I didn't put anything in there. Some more of that vintage wallpaper. Here's a fabric swatch of the different fabrics I used in here that coordinated. Here's this piece, I sewn on some lines, and I believe that's a little pocket there as well. And then on this side, this is a piano paper roll used to make a pocket, and so this card goes in there. And on this side I just collaged some scraps together, and the back has music sheet with a little die cut. So that's my Artist Bloom journal. So thank you all for stopping by and for watching. If you have not taken her course, I highly recommend it. You learn so much in there, and I'm actually in the process of making more, so hopefully there'll be more done really soon. They will be different themes, I guess, not in this exact style, but I can't wait to show you guys those. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for Nazi for offering the course, and I'll see you guys soon.